What's going on, everyone? Hello.
Hi guys.
Read the comment that I pinned there, by the way, so you can have a better experience, if you will. But feel free to hang out with us. We're gonna be right here, either way.
Yeah, please. Let's take that down.
We're not live on YouTube and Facebook yet, so let's keep them entertained for now. All right. So what I was saying is that read the comment, and if you want to have a better experience, we're live right now. We're going
On
live
Facebook.
in less than 1 minute on Facebook and YouTube. All right. Let's see here. All right. Look here. Can you see us over there? No?
Yeah, I see myself. It's good enough.
Good enough. All right.
And of course, if you come on Facebook, you can actually join in the conversation. So it's important to
all right, they've been hearing
say
us.
that part.
Yeah, what's going on, everyone? We're live on Facebook, YouTube. This is my beautiful wife, Lola.
Hello, guys.
My name is Ola.
This is Ola Ribigbe.
And we're going live right now. So, if you will, please. Somebody said, who is the artist? Her name is Aduka Gold. All right. So, we're going live right now. We're going to be talking about submission. We're talking about submission in relationships. We're not talking about submissive husbands. We're talking about submissive wives.
Wait, you're expecting a reaction from me?
Basically, yeah.
I have no reaction.
No?
None.
Okay. We're talking about submission.
Why is submission so hard in relationships
Submissive
and
wives.
marriages?
I'm looking for trouble. Submissive wives. That's what we're going to focus on.
Hey.
All right. So if you're watching us on YouTube, on Facebook, especially on Facebook, please do us a favor. Just click on the share and share it so your network can see. Then also introduce yourself. Let us know who you are. Just say hello in the comment area. We'd like to recognize you. Thank you so much for hanging out. We're going to be hanging out here for a few minutes.
And if you want to join us to talk about this submission palaver, feel free to comment.
Yes, also, yeah. So I'm actually going to drop a link in the comment area on I'm going to drop a link in the comment area on Facebook and YouTube. So all you have to do is click on it if you want to come in and talk to us. And if you're on Instagram and you really don't have an account on Facebook and YouTube, then you can just invite yourself here by requesting. But we prefer that you go on Facebook and YouTube because it will give all of us a better experience.
Right. It's clearer.
Right. Now, can you guys hear me on YouTube, Facebook? If you can hear me, please just say something. Let me know that you can hear me. All right. Join the conversations. So, ladies, if you want to put a quick slap makeup on, maybe feel free.
Slap makeup, slap eyebrows, and all that stuff. But I just dropped
that link in there right now. Okay, I have that link in there. So if you hit that link, you'll be able to contribute to the conversation. Today we're talking about. Wait 1 second. Sorry. We're talking about submission in marriage. You have your thing on my cable. Hopefully it's not messed up. We're talking about submission. So you have a few things for us today, I'm sure.
Wait, first of all, what is the meaning of submission? Because I feel like sometimes if you don't understand the meaning of something, like submission tend to carry a negative weight than a positive weight. in marriages. And
I
why
wonder
is that?
why?
I'm asking too.
To us men,
why?
it's a positive
Why?
thing. So I know what you're talking about. To us men,
Why? Because you feel like
submissive wife is a positive thing.
What's submission to you?
It means a submissive wife.
What does that mean to you?
A wife who cooperates.
Who what?
Cooperates with the husband.
Cooperates with your rules and regulations?
With whatever I stand for as a man.
Also, it has to be about what you stand for, not what we stand for. Because first of all, you're in a marriage, not by yourself.
Wait, you can have two heads. Once you have two heads, you have a monster.
Baby.
Huh?
In a marriage, two people become one.
They
right?
Do? Yeah, but there's still
that's
heads.
the idea of a marriage.
Okay.
Even though you still have your
I agree
own
with that,
individuality, you two become one.
I agree.
And when you become one, two of you come together with you put down rules, guidelines that help your marriage, right? Because one of the things people talk about so much out there is, oh, every marriage is different. Every marriage is different, but it's also similar. Okay.
How are they similar?
First of all, if you're getting
first
married,
of all husbands want a submissive wife. Second of all, okay, go to the second one.
Why do all husbands want a submissive wife? Maybe that should be the question.
No.
What does that do for you?
It puts things in order. You know, we have institution here that we're both
oh, we're both. I thought it was just your
that we're
palace.
both responsible for. People have to play certain roles to make sure that things are in order. And once you start having two heads, that is a monster. Things are gonna
so if you you're basically saying the husband is the head of the family, like we all know, and I think most women agree
to that part.
No, I totally agree to that.
Okay.
But as a head of the family, I think that most husbands don't understand, and I said most because I know some men get it. Okay. You know, and some men have grown. Okay. Right. Most husbands don't understand that to be a leader, it's also your job to serve.
Yeah, we know that.
No. I don't think they know that.
Oh.
I really don't think most men understand.
I'm willing to die for my wife. Just like if we are gonna go there. Just like
that's interesting because I was thinking about it. Just like
Christ is willing to die for us.
That's a good question. Because Christ
it wasn't a question.
No. That's a good one because I was thinking about it. Everyone wants a submissive wife. Right. Well, are you willing to die for your wife like Christ died for the church? Like Christ died for you? Because they don't understand the weight.
There are two questions in that one question.
Okay.
One is, am I willing to? I hear that. I'm going to answer it. The second one is, am I capable of dying for my wife?
That's another good question.
Okay. So now what I can tell you is that with the help of God, so help me God.
So help me God.
I am willing to die for my family, which starts with you. You, in fact, you being the top of that priority before we talk about my children.
Right.
Okay. So now that I put you as top my priority before my children, is it okay now to have a head and a submissive wife?
Yes, because part of the job of a husband in a marriage is to honor his wife. Okay.
What does that mean?
Love your wife.
Spell that out.
Treat her tenderly. You know, you can't use harsh words with your wife, or you can't just go and demand submission. Submission, you're gonna end that by the way you treat your spouse. Okay. And I feel like most people are missing that. They just want to say, "Oh no, she's not submissive." Why is she not being submissive?
Yeah, why not?
Something is off.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be with
a
me.
Woman.
What is off?
A woman. A woman, okay, would respect a man if she's loved.
Yeah.
So I feel like when a woman, okay, I will speak for myself because I don't like to generalize.
We don't want to generalize. I'll give you the permission to generalize, though.
I don't really like the whole idea of. I don't like the whole idea of generalizing because people are different. Okay, so
bros, good to see you here, bros. That's Mommy Covenant's brother.
Oh,
submission is the bedrock of every good relationship. No woman will earn perfect love from her spouse without being submissive. Submission is an attribute of respect. If you respect your man, you will submit to him no matter your genuine thought. Thank you, guys. God bless your home. Thank you, bros.
Amen. So this is how I feel. This is how I feel. Because my husband loves me and I see it in his action.
Right.
Okay. You know, people say, oh, I love my wife, but do they show their wife that they love them? And he treats me with respect as well. And he values my opinion. I have no choice. I don't even control it. I automatically submit to you without even knowing that I'm
So, but
submitting.
you're saying I have to give you something before you submit. Right? Is that what you're saying?
There was something that you were giving me that made me decide to marry you. Okay.
Yeah, my
love. You treated
love.
me good. You love me.
My choice. I chose you.
Okay. Well, I also chose you.
I gave you access to
I also
relationship
chose you,
and
baby.
marriage.
I chose you.
No. I gave you
because
access.
when you chose me and asked me that question, I said yes. They did not pack me into a baggage and drop me at your house. Okay,
right.
So don't you just in case you want to keep emphasizing on the chose on you chose me, we chose each other. Okay, right. But because of how you treat me, the way you love me, you respect me, I automatically submit to you. Okay. If you treat me like crap, I won't submit to you. And I don't think that should be hard for people to understand. That's just psychology. If you treat me like shit, me personally, I'm not speaking for most women, because somebody can come and say now that, oh, somebody's getting treated like crap and they're still there. No, for me personally, how you treat me is what's really important to me. Okay. That's what I value. And because you love me and you respect me and you show me, right, not just tell me, right, that is what makes it easy for me to submit to you. Okay, so what's going to make it easy for me, since I'm human too, and I'm not firewood? What is going to make it easy for me to do the first one? That to love me? Yeah, to love you. That's your job. You have to love me. What? Does that sound bad? It sounds terrible. It's not terrible. We both love each other, but you have to continue. But based on everything, you gave me an epistle just now. Didn't Christ tell you guys to love your wives? Listen, isn't that the number one thing? Let's pretend I'm not a Christ follower. Oh, so you're not? Then why are you married? Because marriage is from, it's from. I'm married because I love religion. My woman and I love you and I give you access to marriage. Why do you follow the idea of marriage? Two things. If you don't believe in marriage. No, two things. Okay. First of all, I made a choice to marry you. I give you access to relationship first, then I give you access to marriage first, right? You give me access to sex. Excuse me? I gave you access to my heart. I gave you access to my vulnerability. Wait. Are you kidding me? I give you access to sex. Well, I'm telling you what the belief system out there right now is, right? You gave me access to sex. I gave you access to relationship and marriage. Did I not propose to you? So did I not accept? Yeah, what if I didn't accept? Would you marry me? I will move on to make another choice. Okay, and I will also move on to make another choice. No. It's still a choice. Whether you ask and I accept or I don't accept, it's still a choice for the person that accepts to marry the guy. Yeah, why is that so hard for men? But I have to make a choice first, right? Correct. Would you have made a choice? Would you have get on your knees? No, I would never. Okay, great. I would never do that. All right, so we're talking. I personally don't subscribe to that. It can be cute with some people, but I wouldn't. So we're talking now, okay? So I made a choice. Is that correct? Okay, so you made a choice. Okay. That I fit the profile. Yeah. Okay, you fit a profile. And that I had in my brain. I also made a choice to accept. No. Yes. Why is that a no? Yes, but your choice is a function of my choice. You would not have made the choice first, correct? Yes. Okay. That's not hard. Yeah, this is not hard. It's when men tussle. You, right? When men tussle, when they fight. When they fight and they use harsh words on their women and say, just submit to me. Too far now. We didn't get to that space yet. That's when, people have this power tussle. We didn't get to that space yet. We're going too quick. Okay. When a man is harsh, I'm not harsh with my words yet. We're talking about the part where I made a choice, and we need to agree on something. Did I make a choice, or you made the choice to propose? No, the choice of getting married to you, the choice of creating a marriage between you and I. Who made the choice? You you did. You're like, did I make the choice or did you make the choice?
Hello,
Why is it so? Why is it so crazy? You made the choice. Yes.
Hello, Uyi. I treat my woman as a queen, but still got burned. I believe the love was not conditional.
Okay.
Was conditional. Is that what you mean?
It's not unconditional.
You know, did you mean that the love was conditional? But I'm not. Oh yeah, it was conditional.
The love was conditional.
Yes, yes, this is true. The love was conditional, right? Because remember, I asked you earlier when we were talking. You said, "Am I willing to die just like Christ died for the church?" I said, "I'm willing." Am I capable? Is a different question.
It's a different ball game.
Am I capable of unconditional love? Personally, I think humans are not capable of unconditional love, but there is a method to the madness, and we'll get to that when we get to it.
Okay.
Right. So now let's go back to what we were saying. You agree that I made the choice?
Yes, you did.
To create this marriage. Okay. All right. So I made the choice to give you access to marriage. Do you agree with that?
I agree with that.
Okay, good. All right. So now that now that I've made that choice, I give you a castle. I give you an empire, because that's what a marriage is ultimately. Because I don't start marriage unless I'm trying to build empire with a woman of my choice. Right now, she gets to say yes or no. You're right about that. But your choice is a function of my choice. I'm correct, right?
Wow. The way you put it, it can be very controversial, but yes.
Okay, good. And we're going to remove the sex part out of it, because I can argue that I give you access to sex too, but maybe not. Right? Let's not worry about that.
I'm not going to argue about that part.
Okay, let's not worry about that. So now that we've covered that, you're still saying that submission is a function of me loving you. Me choosing to marry, isn't that loving you already?
Is it? Wait. You choosing to marry me, is it that? It's part of it. It's part of it. It's part of it.
It's part of it.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so why not just submit? What's the problem with submission? So now I get to ask you now. Why is submission a problem for women? Okay,
so like I said, I used myself as an example, right? Submission is not hard for me. Okay. It's really not hard for me.
Okay.
As when it gets harder for me, it's when when I'm being disrespected in my relationship.
What does that mean? Give me an example.
If you are trying to control me, trying to change who I am, imposing certain things on me that I don't do to you, I don't like that.
So I could be doing personally. I could be you said controlling. You said try to, what's the second one you just said? You said like
imposing things on me.
You said all these things just now,
right?
I could just be doing certain things out of love, and you could interpret that as controlling.
No, when you try to enforce, like when you enforce rules.
If I say, baby,
rules, no, that's different, baby. When you try to, you're looking out for me is different from.
But if I'm looking out for you, you can easily interpret that as I'm calling you naive. Or you don't know what you're doing, or I'm trying to be your father.
Why would you marry somebody that is naive? That question goes back to you. Why would you marry someone that is not self-sufficient? Did you marry this person because you want to fix them, or you're trying to save them?
Can I answer the question? Can I answer the question?
Please.
Right.
Go ahead.
I can marry a person. I can marry a person that's not self-sufficient. I can marry a person that's naive. The only problem is that we all pull our best front forward, right?
Our best foot, yeah.
Yeah, we'll put our front up, right? Like we front.
Our best behavior.
Our best behavior. Yes. So we get into a situation first before people start showing their true colors. Yeah. Right. So just like he said here, I treat my woman as a queen, but still got burned. By the way, we need more context. If you don't mind, we'll need more context. Because again, there are scenarios where you feel like you put a woman as a queen, but she's not receiving it like that. So we'll talk more and more about that as we get into it. But back to my question for you, right? We all put our best foot forward, right?
Yes.
So you can blame me if we're 2 years into the relationship, into the marriage,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm like,
You're
you're
trying to fix
naive.
your wife.
Yeah, what you're about to do, you're gonna get in trouble, and
oh,
then you will get to receive that as I'm being your father, I'm controlling.
absolutely.
Okay, great.
Absolutely.
But you see that my intentions were good.
Your intentions can be good, and you still end up with a effed up marriage.
That wasn't the question. You're in the seat.
Your intention.
You see that my intention was good, correct?
You cannot force someone to take an advice. You can only advise.
Was my intention
them.
good?
Yes,
okay.
But you're delivering your intention can be bad. This is why people are where they are.
Senator Ken Rollins, submission doesn't have an automatic button. You have to love, trust, and earn it.
Thank you, sir. My point exactly. I feel like, men just come in and say, oh, my wife is not being submissive. She's just being why is she being the way she is?
So with that in mind right now, let me ask you that question again. There's a reason why I'm playing devil's advocate.
Right.
What is it why do women have problem with being a submissive partner, a submissive wife? Because frankly, when people are talking about submission, we can go back and say, oh yeah, but women are supposed to submit too, right? Or men are supposed to submit too, but that's not where the source of the question came from. The source of the question is the man is complaining that my wife is not submissive. That's usually the source of the question. There's no woman out there, to your credit, to be fair to women, there's no woman that walk around town and say, my husband is not submissive. That's just not what women say. Mm-hmm. Right? That's why I think the topic is much more of submissive wife. What is the problem? Why is it that this creates a big question mark from a woman's standpoint? So if you can paint some pictures for us, you already did one. You said controlling. I just want more like good examples. Example of a man being controlling in spite of the fact that he has good intentions. Right? If you have examples, that would be good. We can also get into some of the stuff that you have at this point. But before we do that, let's go into Uyi says, if you're a true Christian, submission from both parties is imperative. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I was just saying, women don't complain that I don't have submissive husband. That's not, the complaint comes from a man. From men complaining, right? So that creates two questions. Why is a man in a place saying I don't have my wife is not submissive? And women, why do you push in 2021? Why do you push so much against that, even though you tend to not have a problem being submissive in certain scenarios, right? So
I usually think that. Okay, let's go ahead.
Let's read that. Yeah, okay. Hello, madam. Bible said, wife, respect your husband. My own Bible. Respect your husband, and husband love your wife. Every man will love any woman that will respect them. Okay, so Bros is now pushing back, saying you should be respecting first. So who goes first? Okay, are we agreeing that a woman is to respect and a man is to love? Are we agreeing on that part? But who goes first?
I think according to the Bible said simply, wives, submit to your husband.
I don't think so. I think it's men love your wife first.
Okay.
As far as Bible is concerned.
Well, I'm glad you're here, but because you're a church boy.
Okay, I'm a church boy.
I'm not a church girl. I went to church late, but yeah.
Now, bro said, I mean real respect, not hypocrite. I need context, though. If you don't give me context, that sounds like accusation. Just like Uyi earlier, too. I need context. Give you, maybe without telling your life story, but give us some context. Examples. You can say things like, what if a man do this? You can say things like that, and it doesn't have to be about you, because I understand that we want to maintain privacy, right? Men value respect and submission than sex in marriage. What do you think about that? Men value respect and submission than sex in marriage.
I think yes, I agree.
The falling of mankind came from lack of respect and submission.
But respect is not something you just get from people. Respect has to be earned. Tables. No, I think for me, when we're talking about respect, okay, respect has to be earned. It's how you carry yourself, how you come to the table, how you solve problems, how you talk to people, how you act on a daily basis that earn you respect. You don't just come from the womb of your mother and you get respect. It doesn't work that way. Just because I'm a boy or I'm a boy, I'm a man, you just don't get respect that way. There are things that you're doing that made you get that respect. So why do men lose respect in the eyes of their women? In certain situations, they don't know how to act or react to certain things. When a woman see you react a certain way to certain things, she starts to lose respect for you.
Respect for you.
And a woman cannot love a man that she does not respect. Because we all, I'm not going to say we again. I married a man that I respect. Because when I look at you, I look up to you. Right. This is how I married you. Like, I love everything about you.
But that wasn't
necessarily
necessarily how the story continued. There were points where we got into where you lost to respect.
Exactly.
Because of some things that happened over time.
Yes.
And yes, so that's a good point. That's some of the things some of the context that I need. Right. Because when people are talking about these things, they're talking about it's just the same feeling across board. There are times that you wake up and things happen in life, and you lose respect. Or even you as a man, you're not in the spirit to love your wife right now. She can go and pack herself and go into the guest room somewhere and go and pack.
You can't stand her. She's annoying now.
Like she represents lack of peace of mind in certain moments. Right. So those are the real issues we should be talking about.
Because when you guys say I do to each other, at that point, there's a reason why you came to the altar together. It's because you love each other, obviously. But something happens along line where a woman starts to lose respect for her husband. Men, you go and you choose this woman, you married her. She wasn't disrespectful before you married her. So what happened? Something changed. And those are the conversations that we don't have. We just say, oh, this woman is not submissive. As far as I'm concerned, submission to me, when I look at the context of what I'm reading, is that God is telling women to be humble yourself before your husband. Humble yourself.
Yes.
Don't be so full of yourself. Let a man be a man. Don't try to fix a man. Any woman that put her place in a position to fix a man will be hated by the man. Okay? You might not know it, but it's gonna get there. It's gonna hate your guts.
It will, maybe hate is a heavy word, but
it's gonna resent you.
It will cripple his ability to be able to love you.
He can't love you. He can't love you because right now you've graduated from being his wife to his mother. Okay? And he has a mother. He doesn't need you for that. He didn't marry his mother, he married his wife. Someone he can rub minds with. So I think those are the places where we miss it sometimes. Women don't. I don't want to say we should all know our places because I know how controversial that could be. But the point is we all have roles in marriages. And we need to know our role. And yes, it can be different from marriage to marriage.
Right.
Okay?
So I think most women would agree that the man in a marriage or a relationship is superior to a woman, but yet they will push against the idea of a submissive wife. I think one of the reasons for that is because when a man starts to ask for submission, it starts to come off as you're looking for a servant. That's not what you mean. But when you start demanding submission from the woman,
in respect to psychology, what is the state of a man that is asking for submission?
Good point. And that's what I'm driving at. So when you are a man and you find yourself in a space where you're demanding submission, you've lost respect.
That's my point. And the way you're going to show off is not going to be your best self. You're going to show off with weakness.
Yes. You can't in the same breath ask for submission and you have confidence at the same time. You clearly have lost confidence.
You've lost confidence. Yes.
In your ability to attract submission from your wife. You've lost confidence in your ability to attract submission, respect from your wife, right? So now you've lost this for so long or so much that you now feel the need to say it out in words. If there is a need for you to say it out in words that you're not a submissive wife in one shape, or maybe not those exact words, but you feel the need to say it out,
Right.
that you're not, you lack respect. You don't know how to respect. If you find yourself in that space that you have to say it out in words, right? You've lost.
You've lost your shit.
Yeah.
Why is it so hard
You've
for
lost
men
your power
to understand that part?
Yeah.
You've lost your shit. And what do you expect a woman who doesn't have respect for you at that time?
Right.
How do you expect her to react?
Right. So we have the Bible. Now we have psychology. Right. We have feelings, people's feelings, right? Which is kind of interchangeable. We can use it interchangeably with psychology, right? And then you have attraction, right? So a woman just don't wake up and say, I'm not going to submit
to my husband. That's my point.
A typical woman don't do that. They may actually say it, because a lot of women don't know how to say what they really want to say in words too, right? They'll find themselves say, so forget that submission stuff. It's partnership. That's because you are basically stressing their life, right? But a woman actually find pleasure in submitting to a man.
They find pleasure submitting to a man,
right? So, but they may not be able to put that into words. If you're asking for it, they may find themselves in a space submission. Okay.
Like for me, when I remember one time when you said you're not being submissive. I mean, of course, you didn't say.
I said that
in a calm word.
Maybe in a different word.
That was when I think maybe like 3 years into our marriage, and I asked you. I said, "How submissive do you want me to be?" Because I think I'm like submissive. Yeah. Like how? Like what? At that point, I'm saying, I cannot satisfy you at this point. What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
But of course, it wasn't coming out when you were saying that. It's because we had an argument. It
comes from
an argument. It doesn't come from like a place of love. When things are they say, "Oh, you're not being submissive right now."
Yep.
It's like, comes from, why are you not being submissive right now? Like, dude, what are you talking about? I don't understand what you're saying.
Yeah, it comes from crisis.
I'm not your slave, so it comes from crisis. And people won't acknowledge that. They forget those times where everything was rosy and they loved their woman.
Well, me and you, both you and I, either man or woman, we can't remember rosy times when
we are angry,
in a toxic argument.
Exactly.
Okay. At that point in time, both of our insecurities will creep itself all the way and float to the top. And then we will start using abusive behavior,
language,
either verbally or emotionally. We will abuse each other emotionally and verbally. If you're good at this, you would at least do emotionally. So the person that shuts down is effectively emotionally abusing the other person
because they shut down.
Yeah, because you don't deem you subscribe to a marriage, but suddenly you find yourself you can't honor that marriage in that moment. So you shut down. You're being selfish. You're stressed out. You don't want to have the conversation.
Yeah, but I also feel like they didn't choose to do that.
No. You don't have to choose to abuse.
Wait. What are you talking about? When we use abuse, we can't use abuse. Yeah. When you say someone shut down, they're not just abusing the other person. They're also abusing themselves. Because I want us to be careful with the word abuse, okay? Because abuse, there are different types of abuse and forms of abuse, and abuse is not okay. But when someone is doing the shutdown behavior, they're also self-sabotaging themselves without knowing it.
Good point. All abusers are self-sabotaging themselves when they are abusing.
Right.
Abusing is sensation. Another word for abuse is misuse.
Right.
Okay. So abuse is one of those other things that you can put on a pedestal, right? You make the word much of a big deal than it actually is. The reason why physical abuse is not tolerable and it's not negotiable is because you can actually kill a person.
Yeah.
Okay. The cost of the downside of that is too great. Don't tolerate that. But emotional and verbal abuse, people tend to put a gauge on it. It gets to this point when you call it abuse. No, it doesn't. It can start very little. Without you having the intentions to abuse the other person.
Right.
You're just caught up in your feeling. You're stressed out. You don't want to. You're effectively emotionally abusing the person that you subscribe to a relationship with.
Okay.
If you were not in a relationship with that person, right, you have free. You can even call the you can call the cops on them. Right. But you subscribe to a relationship with this person, but you unilaterally checked out of the relationship without using your words. That's an abuse.
So if you have a husband that is not, that is very harsh with his words,
yes,
okay, that is so quick to shut down his wife, and she can't have an opinion, and she shuts down.
Good point. That's the flip side of it. So I was going to go to the flip side, right? The flip side is you're verbally abusing the other person,
right,
when you're manipulating them with words, including when you say you're not a submissive wife.
Yeah, it is manipulative.
That can be received
if you're using it that way.
Abusive. Remember, the abuse is in the eyes of the beholder. If the other person is feeling abused, that's when it becomes abuse. Not when you've gauged it that's not an abuse. No. If she or he received that as an abuse,
it is an abuse.
It's an abuse. It's an abuse. It's not because you can't put a number on it. Oh, it's when the conversation has turned up to this level. That's when no, it's not. It's when the person.
We all have our limits, yes.
Because we all have our limits, you can't put that on another person. So I could be like, I'm verbally abusive at you, right? And I'm just correcting you as your husband, and you're receiving it as you're acting like my father, and I don't like how that feels. You're emotionally, verbally abusive, and you're controlling. That's how a woman will receive that.
Yes.
And most men will typically say, no, I'm not controlling. I need to tell you this. What kind of husband would I be if I can't correct you? Well, the husband don't get to define if he's controlling or not. It's her that's on the receiving end.
That's
now,
true.
Could she be inaccurate? Could she be coming from a place of lack of knowledge? Yes, of course. But that's where, again, these things become big problems for people.
Right.
Because you can't cut throats clearly define where's the mark. That's why people go to therapy.
And also lack of patience, because I don't think men, again, I don't want to generalize.
No, you feel free to generalize, please. We're talking in general for the most part. We're not talking about any particular people.
Right.
And I say that because I want you to feel free to say, if I feel like I should push back, I'll push back against it. But if you come to the show, you should expect that there will be generalization. So
okay. So I don't think men understand that they have to be the most patient when it comes to these relationships.
Yeah.
They come with power and say, I think maybe.
Why should a man be most patient?
Because there are times that your wife will test you. There are times.
Why should the woman be testing me?
She's not testing you on purpose.
Okay.
Things will happen, and you will have to be patient with her. If you're not patient with her, it's not gonna help. There's something that Yoruba people say, and I don't think it's only Yoruba people say it. They say, "Suru laughing shoko obirin."
No, it's Obi. It's Ebenezer Obi that said.
Oh, is it?
It's a song.
Are you sure it's not
Suru laughing
so it's not a proverb?
obirin.
Okay, I thought it was a proverb.
And
so it means.
Suru, ohun gbogbo ló ní.
Yeah, but I feel like even God tells a man to be patient.
It could be a proverb. I'm not sure.
You're not sure that he used it, but it says basically that you have to be a patient man.
Let's address this
to deal with a woman.
Let's hold that thought on patience.
Right.
Let's address this.
Okay.
So Uyi, thanks for sharing. It takes a lot of courage to do that. I spent my money, paid her rent and her car, flowers, massages. Was there for her even when I was tired from working 2 full-time jobs. I will cook for her after a 16 hours shift. She will sleep all day, not even concerned about making sure I came home to food. I satisfy her in every way imaginable, and then when she acts like she cares less and careless, and I try to talk to her, but about it, she starts to act disrespectful, giving cold treatment. Right? When I finally get to sleep after I stay up to run errand with her, okay. It looks like the rest of your comment will be on Facebook somewhere.
Oh.
She wasn't my wife though. I couldn't marry such. I think I got a good picture of what you're saying. She realized she fucked up a beautiful thing. But when I remember what she did on the past, I just can't go back to her. She
She was
was
very
very wicked.
wicked.
What do you say to this, babe?
So my own question to we is, how is it that you attracted such a woman? Because I feel like sometimes there are signs there,
Mm-hmm.
and we completely ignore those signs. You know, like, I know men, I've heard men say, oh, I like that girl because she's sassy. She's sassy, the way she acts in public, she doesn't take nonsense.
Right.
But I feel like what they forget is that when you end up being in a relationship with such a person,
Right.
the way she acts out there is the way she's going to act towards you. So my own thing is, how come you're attracting somebody like that?
Yeah.
And then he gave so much of himself to that person.
Right.
When you're giving to someone and they're abusing it, you have the right to pull back.
Yes, definitely.
Because when you don't pull back, then you're abusing yourself.
Yes.
And I think, I don't know the whole story, but that's what I'm getting from that story.
I would say we have enough, and I want to I would definitely say that we have enough to address this. Let me see. I'm looking for the comment where he left it. Maybe I can see, but I don't think it matters. I think we got a good picture. Here's what I would say. Let me go back to to what you said yourself. Right? I spent money, paid her rent. I'm gonna give you some tough love, if that's okay. I'm gonna give you some tough love here. Right? I spent money, paid her rent on her car. I had somebody ask me today and say, when you give, because I tell people you go into a relationship to give, period. Not give and take. It's give. If you can't give enough, you feel as a person, as a human being that God created, that have feelings. You feel like once you start feeling like you're giving and it's not being reciprocated and it's hurting your feelings, that usually means you're not giving enough to yourself.
Yes, because now you're abusing yourself to satisfy someone else.
Yes, you're trying to pour from an empty cup. Another way of saying is that, how did you attract
such a person?
Just said? How did you attract a person that's abusing you? Right? No, people are mad by themselves. I get it. I 100% agree with you.
I'm sure there are people out there like that, women that are just straight up wicked,
But you subscribe to it though. Right? We used to say at least 50% of that choice was yours.
Right.
Like when I was playing devil's advocate in the beginning, right? I was like, no, but I chose. No, the truth is that yes, you did choose me. Yes, it's a function of me choosing you first, but it's still we chose each other, right? Ultimately, right? Because there was a relationship that transpired.
Right.
That's why you call it a relationship.
In a marriage,
yes. So it's two people coming together. So we can't control other people. But you can influence them. You can influence them to treat you like shit. Right? All right. So you spent money, paid our rent.
So it's like enabling them.
You're enabling. Right? So in the beginning, you could do that and say, she's going to reciprocate. I'm just going to love her. But there's got to be a point where you get to and say, this person is an ingrate. This person is wicked. Once you start feeling like this person is wicked, you don't get to blame that on her. You, unfortunately, in a relationship, you attracted that. Maybe not intentionally.
No, it's never.
It's never really
intentional.
Right.
Yes.
But you attracted that, right? So just like you attracted that, you got to come to a space where you will say, I attracted that. Now let me cut the cord. Right? Let me start giving to myself. So you're not necessarily going to cut the cord. It may not be as simple as breaking up with them. That's not the thing I'm talking about. I'm talking about give yourself some space too. I'm talking about start giving yourself the gift. You like flowers that much? Buy yourself flowers. Yeah, literally. You know how some people, my wife don't like flowers.
I don't.
So if you're giving flower to a person that don't appreciate it, number one thing you should learn there is that person does not appreciate flowers.
I don't like flowers.
At the very minimum, they don't appreciate flower from you.
That's true.
Right?
But I think that people tend to give their significant other gifts that they like.
So you can argue that the man don't like flowers, right? But that's what
But
you
they think
feel.
that, but they think that most girls like flowers.
That's what you feel she will like. That is still a selfish act. Have you taken the time to learn what she would like and how she would like it? Right. So let's say, worst case scenario, she told you 2 weeks ago that she loved flowers, right? But her action speaks louder than
Actually, like
words.
plastic flowers, you know.
Oh, Jesus.
They're cute because they stay the same way. I don't have to feed it. I don't have to pour water, and it beautifies the house. But real flowers, the wildlife is too much. I can't. I really can't.
Yeah, so I will keep going back, but you're giving us some more context here. I saw signs, but I ruled it as like no one is perfect. So I was patient with because she claimed she was in an abusive relationship for many years. So I thought love, respect, and adoration would surface because she claimed she wanted me too. Right.
So she could have been in an abusive relationship, but guess what happened when people get out of abusive relationship? They don't go and take care of themselves.
Right.
So they go into the next relationship,
with
and
all
that
the trauma.
next relationship with the trauma, that next relationship will suffer.
Yep.
They will bring all the hardship from that relationship and use it to judge their new relationship. And I think that's unfortunately what happened to Uyi.
Yes. You know, there's a word you used earlier. I don't like to use that word because if you're not careful, you will carry your own trauma from this person to another relationship.
Oh, yeah.
When you look at it as wickedness, now you're you're a victim now, right? A victim carries trauma, right? Mentally, emotionally speaking.
Right.
So now when you receive love from a nice, beautiful lady later on, you may have a hard time recognizing it because you are not necessarily you, but it happens.
It happens to people,
right?
that you know.
And then you have a hard time receiving it because they're all the same. That's what you tell yourself.
Like women will say, like, not all women, of course. Most women will say, "Oh, men are dogs," because of the experience with one guy.
Yeah.
Or I've heard certain things, like even from our fellow Nigerian people. Nigerian men are the worst. And I'm like, no, that's not true though. You can't carry your experience from one Nigerian guy that maybe destroy your life and now use it to tarnish all of us. All of us, my own Nigerian man is not a horrible person. So I can't relate with you on that. But I do understand that it's from experiences that people have.
Yeah.
And they always carry it to their next relationship if they don't get help.
Yeah. It says, yes, I have serious PTSD. Yeah. It's what is it? Traumatic syndrome disorder, something like that. Stress disorder. Yeah. So it's real.
Yes, it's real.
So you definitely want to do some work there and make sure that, and this is the first step to work. It's not wickedness. People don't lock themselves in relationships, just don't abuse. They're abusing, they're hurting because they've been hurt. It's not an excuse for them. It's just what it is.
Yes.
But it's a better place for you to be mentally, so you can know that you had the power to go into that relationship, and you had the power. Thank God you say you
pull the plug.
Pull the plug, right?
Yes.
You also had the power to check out of it if it's not serving you.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? And it's applicable in marriage and relationship. It's not just relationship. Some people say, "Oh, marriage is different." No, it's not. Okay, you made it different, right? Oh, you've had children, so it's more difficult. No, it's not. It's more difficult because you made it difficult, so it's effectively difficult. You know what I'm saying? So let's just put things in perspective. Yes, you can still make a choice to stay in it because you feel like you value your children having a home. That's fine. But own that decision. Because if you don't own that decision, you effectively become a victim.
Yeah.
And victims are essentially hurt.
They stay down.
So you're going to hurt everything that you love around you.
They don't rise up. They stay down. And then they abuse without knowing it. It keeps going on.
Without knowing it.
Yeah.
You know? So that's like back to what we were saying earlier, right? Which is you can abuse other people without the intentions of abusing
absolutely.
people.
Absolutely. I agree.
Even physically, even though you should not tolerate that period. But even physical abuse, there are men that sworn up and down they will never raise their hands.
Yes.
But they end up doing that because anger took over, right? And then they lost their cool.
But when you're angry, you have to understand that that's a weakness right there. That emotion right there that pushes you to do something that you thought you would never do to someone.
Yep.
That's a weakness. And once you recognize that as a weakness, I believe that you can get out of physical violence situation.
Yep.
Because you will get help for that weakness that you have.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what some men would say, oh, our mouth is just bad. Okay. She's using her mouth though. And you think you can reciprocate with your hand? It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, just there's the same token. Just like because somebody is using their mouth and you now made the wrong move by using your hand, right?
You just go to jail.
It's the same thing with if somebody is emotionally abusive, that doesn't give you the right to be verbally abusive, and vice versa. Because somebody is verbally abusive does not mean you should be emotionally abusive. You should use your mouth and say, I don't appreciate the way you're talking to me. I will check out this conversation because obviously you've lost some respect for me.
Right.
When you say that, you now have the right. It's different from the person that he used the word earlier. Cold treatment. A person that's doing cold treatment is you're effectively abusing a person. You're giving them the cold shoulders. You know they're gonna feel it,
and you know it's gonna hurt, and
you know
that's
it's
why
gonna
you're doing
hurt.
It. Yeah,
you know. So let's say it's just your personality. You're just the type that don't use your words. You don't communicate. Yes, you're still hurting, and you know that you're hurting, but maybe you're also too much soaked in your own hurt, right? That's why I said when you go into a relationship, you expect that the people that love you the most will be the one to hurt you the most emotionally.
I think that we don't talk about that enough. So when it happens, you're like, you don't love me. No, obviously you're vulnerable with this person. There will be moments that this person will overstep their boundaries. And it's so normal that it happens, but we have to be able to recognize it and say, you know what? The reason why this person is able to do this to me is because this person has a key to my heart.
Yep.
And it's better to look at it as a weakness than wickedness.
Yes, because that effectively is what defines you as a victim or not. Right? If you think it's wickedness, you're a victim. You will hurt other people. Even if that other people have some kind of love they can give you, you will self-sabotage.
Oh, you miss out on good things.
Out on life and love.
Yeah.
But if you think it's a weakness, that means you're taking your power. You're saying, I chose to go into that. Yes, that was terrible. Yes, they made some wrong choices too, but I also chose to be in that situation, right? But you own that power. So when you now see love, you're not going to transfer that aggression onto the next person. You at least a lower chance of doing that, right?
Right.
You know, so and that's something I learned from TD Jakes, you know, is wickedness versus weakness, right? It's something that helped me when we went through a crisis.
Yes.
I was able to see you as everything as is a weakness. You're not trying to hurt
deliberately,
me. And that allowed me to take my power back as opposed to let myself, you know.
Oh, he said something else.
Let's say you're right. I wouldn't think she was wicked, but it was wicked act. Yes. And it's valid that you receive that as wicked act.
Yes.
But you got to take that power back and say, that's a weak human being.
Yes.
Let me keep it moving this way. And
while she go fix herself, let me go get what I deserve somewhere else.
Yeah. She's apologetic and asked to return back, but I'm still skeptical. You should be skeptical with respect to her. You should be skeptical, and she needs to earn you back. Absolutely. She has to earn you back. If there's a chance at all, you know, she has long been forgiven, but apparently not forgotten. Yeah. You know, by the way, that person could actually have something good for you. Maybe they were going through some kind of healing or something, but only you get to determine that.
Yes,
there are other signals that has to determine that. We don't know the full context. But there are times that people that hurt you in the past, I just told you, like my wife shut down completely for literally almost a year, right? Well, I only felt it for probably a month or two, right? Because I just took my power back in the form of I didn't take it as an offense. I stopped taking it as an offense because again, if I start to take it as an offense,
you lose your cool.
I will get defensive as a human being,
and that's not attractive.
Forget attractive. We will fight in it.
Yeah, but what do you mean we'll fight? We'll argue.
We will be arguing.
Yeah, because
we
we don't fight.
will engage in toxic
I don't
arguments.
fight. I'm like,
Yeah,
you
I
want to
meant,
fight? I'm out.
I meant fight in terms of Niger.
You'll be fighting by yourself.
Yeah, that's Niger definition of fight. You know, when you're arguing, they say you're fighting. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, we'll argue.
So we will just end up in toxic argument. I'll be missing out on life, and you will obviously to get worse, or you may even say, you know, I need to be out just because you're looking for your
Zen
your
mode.
peace of mind.
Yeah, my Zen is very important.
For her personality, that would have pushed her completely out of the house.
Right.
Long time, you know. So I think it's about owning your power. I think majority of these issues is about owning your power. Yeah. Hopefully the internet don't act out on us. You know.
Why?
I just saw poor connection, but I think it was for men. Like, it's about owning your power. You know, either you're a man or a woman. If you're in a tough situation there with your husband, there's certain power that you have. Okay, I don't want to call it feminine power right now because that has so many contexts out there right now.
Bastardized.
But as a woman, there's certain power that you have, and if you don't recognize that, if you see yourself as a victim, you will continue to self-sabotage, and you will attract exactly what you fear. Right? You will basically attract this person's behavior that's basically toxic. And no, it doesn't mean you're responsible for their power of choice. Right? Because some people misconstrue that. They say, so when are people going to be held accountable? Well,
you don't go into a relationship to go and be holding people accountable. These days, I can't handle the conversations that are being had out there because everyone has their own opinion and no one is coming from a place of love. Yeah. They're coming from a place of, I have to hold you accountable. So the guy cannot just misyan, you're going to hold him accountable. You're not supposed to say, how are you going to last in a marriage like that?
Yeah.
There's got to be ways that even as women, we have to know when we have to be patient. In fact, women, we have the power of seduction, but we don't use it enough.
I'll put some context. If you use some colorful words, cuss words at me, right? And I'm supposed to make you accountable for that, right? How I can make you accountable for that in reality, it's not by controlling you or telling you shut up. That's not going to work. In fact, that will make you want to do it more because clearly some things happen that put you in that position. It doesn't have to be me, but some things happen within the relationship that put you in that position where you want to abuse me verbally, right? So you've lost respect for me.
Yes.
I'm instantly recognizing that as I haven't respected myself. I've engaged in disrespectful behavior to myself.
You've allowed that to happen.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's not this moment. It's something that happened over time. You've lost respect for me because I have not respected myself. I don't give you that power to respect me. I retain the power to respect me, and you agree to that by respecting me.
Right.
It's the same thing for submission. I don't give you the power to submit to me. I retain that power. Okay? But if I don't submit to this relationship, right, there are certain dynamics that create this relationship when it's happy. It's because I've earned the respect. I've earned you submitting. I've earned your trust, right? Some things transpired, right? And you found yourself in a place. I'm assuming you're not a mad person randomly, right? You found yourself in a place where you lost respect for me, and maybe because I wasn't behaving consistently in the way that created a relationship in a happy place in the first place, right?
It could also be expectations too, you know.
What do you mean expectation?
You know, people have high expectations. Like I feel like men sometimes the pressure can be a lot because and I'm talking about where I'm coming from because obviously I grew up in Nigeria. And
you're so respectful. You're such a sweet person. Always making sure you're not generalizing.
Because it's different from
screw generalizing. We're talking typical. An average person. There's no absolute. But
I'm trying to put context in it now. So you know, coming from Nigeria, you know, the way it is a man carries most of the role right in the house.
What role?
Like the most of the like financial, make sure that your the money is right. The woman is in charge of the home.
Right.
The woman can have a hustle, but it could be a side hustle. Even if it's a full hustle, the man is still a pride of a man to provide for his family. So when he lacks, in that aspect, I feel like women, we have that expectation growing up. Oh, man is supposed to provide. His money is our money. My money is my money. And then when he's now going through some challenges, then we don't know how to tackle it. And then the man can start to lose respect.
Yeah. For the wife.
No. The woman starts to lose respect for the man because of the expectations.
Yes.
Like, I feel like there's no balance.
So it could come,
they don't prepare
so it could come
you.
from the wife too.
Yes. Okay, it can come from the wife because of how a level of expectation. How we say expectation kills relationships.
Right.
You feel like
I will respectfully disagree with you a little bit. Here's why. Okay. A woman. Okay, this is for a typical woman.
Right.
Okay, I'm not talking about a mad, crazy, lunatic woman.
Wicked woman.
Yeah, I'm not talking about wicked woman. Okay, I'm talking about a typical woman, right? They have a lot on their plate already.
Right.
Okay, and I 100% think women still feel like it's a man's world. So even us don't have to feel that way. Of course,
absolutely.
We'll push against that. What do you mean?
We're just having the first female vice president in America. It's still a man's
for the first
world.
time.
Okay.
How old is the world? How old is the world? A couple of thousand years minimum, right?
Yeah.
So we're just having a woman president. So it's been a man's world at least, right?
Okay.
So the man is the head of the household.
And don't even take me to Nigeria, okay? You ain't got me started with Nigeria.
So the man is the head of the household.
Yes.
Right. So are you telling me, because you mentioned patience earlier, that's what we kind of like went to look at the comment, right?
Okay.
You're telling me that, so she's now caught up in her feelings a little bit. You can't have a little bit of patience. Most men can't.
No, that's what I'm saying. No, most men, most men can't.
Most men have trouble with patience. And that's when you hear things like, so when can we hold women accountable too? Dude, what? You want to hold a woman accountable? You haven't done enough of that in a few thousand years, right? So ultimately, even as man or woman, I believe that if you attracted this person in their most happiest moment, joyful moment, and there was a point, I'm talking only if there was ever a point where you were in love.
You guys are in love with each other.
That means you have the power to still do that.
Oh, of course.
Especially
believe that.
Especially if you're a man. And if you find yourself that your wife has lost respect for you and they're having a hard time submitting, being submissive or being a submissive wife, when I know that most typical women have no problem being a submissive wife, it becomes an issue.
When you say it.
Because you've noticed that she's lost respect for you, and you now want to use your mouth to command it back.
It doesn't work.
It. You want to press a button.
It doesn't work.
For her to become a submissive wife.
It gets worse.
It's just gonna get worse. Okay, newsflash. It's just gonna get worse, right? But TK, come on YouTube and Facebook. Come and talk with us.
Happy New Year, Bratike. Where have you been?
Happy New Year. She said, where have you guys been? We'll be here now.
We did miss a bunch of lives, but
She said, see my sister looking smashing.
Thank you, sir.
You look beautiful. Babe.
Thank you, baby.
All right. So so it's the more you spell this out, or you want to drag her to counseling because you think she's not submissive, it's just gonna get worse. Okay, because the idea that you don't see that this is a psychological thing, it's a testament to why you lost respect.
Right.
It's an evidence that it's like, to me, at least to me, it's like, oh, no wonder. If you say my wife is not submissive, it's like, to me, it's like, no wonder. Just the fact that you will utter such statement with respect, with all due respect, I say that.
I've had
people don't know.
I've had something like I've had comments like, and I'm only going to use Nigerian men as an example.
Mhm.
Okay, it's not all Nigerian men, so listen very well.
Mhm.
Because don't let your wife become a nurse, because then she'll be your oga.
Mhm.
She will be proud. She will be like,
Oh,
when I hear
a nurse?
man, talk
is
like
that. That's Nigerian men in diaspora, though.
That's what I said.
Okay,
some
because
men.
being nurse in Nigeria is not.
It's not a big
It's
deal.
not a business.
Yeah, but here, don't let her. That's when I'm out. You know, she will think that she's the okay. She'll start to act out. I don't like when I hear statements like that. It really rubs me off. Like, are you in the business of oppressing women? Like, what? That tells me that you're an insecure man. If you feel because your wife is a nurse, you won't be able to talk to her.
People always look for balance in these conversations.
Right.
So let's see if we can put some balance without me beating the men up too much.
Okay.
Right.
And I'm not beating the men up.
No, I'm the one that tend to do that. I'm the one that tend to do that.
Some men.
Not me. I'm very patient. That's how I get being used. Well, let's dissect that. Let's dissect that. See, there's difference between patience and patience. Okay. There is patience and then there's patience. Okay.
Yes.
There's patience where I will continue to let her abuse me. There is the patience where I understand that this is a fish brain inside this person's brain, just like the rest of us. It's just a brain. Okay. It's psychology, right? I have the power. Don't worry. She's okay. Okay. I know I've acted out, or maybe I lost my cool in certain time. I haven't been consistent. I've been complacent, like the rest of us, right? So I need to be patient. Oh, you know what? I didn't know better. So I've created some damages in our relationship. It's gonna take finite patience, meaning there is no.
So how are you patient and not? Because I feel like you can be patient, but you can also be too patient that you become a doormat.
That's not patience.
How do you balance that out?
If you find yourself being a doormat, being abused, that is not patience. Okay, that's lack of self-love. That's lack of self-respect. That's basically the S is lacking. Okay, if you find
not
yourself,
giving into yourself.
There's a fine line between that and quote unquote patience.
I actually believe there's a fine line.
It can get blurry.
Yes.
Right?
I agree.
Okay. But if any one party, could be you, could be the other person, is being abused, that is not patience. If you stay in a relationship because of children, that is not patience. Okay.
Because those children will fly away someday.
If you stay in it, just maybe she will change. That is not patience, because you can't change people. You cannot control people. You can influence them. If you are attracting toxic love, right, at any point in time, that is not patience. Okay. Here's where patience comes in. She's my bitch.
What?
Right?
Kill me?
Or vice versa. His balls are mine. Right? She's acting like, oh my God, okay. Let me just go and focus on my work.
Right.
That's patience. If you don't get caught up in your emotions, even though that person is acting funny, that is patience. The moment your own emotions are involved and you're feeling hurt, if you are actively feeling hurt, that is not patience. And you're letting it happen over and over. You're still effectively letting it happen. You're allowing it.
You're allowing it.
It could be a weakness on your part, but you're still allowing it. That is not patience.
Right.
Are we clear here? Bro, tickets today. Allah is a confirmed fine boy. Good evening, classic. What are you guys talking? We're talking about submission. We're talking about submission. That's what we're talking about.
We're talking about why is submission so hard.
So we agree. There's a fine line between patience and patience.
Right.
Patience where no, bro, if you feel for an ounce, it's completely. She didn't pick up a stick and beat you, right? That's the only time I will agree with you now. If she continues to beat you with stick and you stay there in your patience, that's still not patience.
No, that's abuse. You're allowing yourself to be abused.
You're abusing yourself effectively. Yeah. Yes, the other person is a criminal and they should
and
be locked up.
They should be in jail. Okay, right? Be a man or woman, They should be in jail. That's not okay.
But you are effectively abusing yourself if you've seen this at least one time and you stay in it.
Yeah. Or she's not gonna do it again because she just she's angry. No.
Yes.
She's crazy.
But I'm gonna be patient, even though she beat me or he beat me with a stick the other day. I'm gonna just be patient. That is not patience. I see the blurry line. I see it. Okay. Oh, the governor has spoken to me, so I should just listen to the father figure and stay in the relationship.
My God, you tried it.
That is not patience.
Oh my God.
That is abusive behavior on your part, and the other person is a criminal. They should be locked up. The person who is assaulting the other.
Do you know that there are men in relationship? Most men that are being beaten in their relationship will never come out and talk about it because it's a thing of shame.
Yeah, I understand why. But it's still abusive behavior.
It is abusive.
Yeah, it's abusive.
You should
behavior.
never allow yourself.
Yeah. So now back to what we're talking about, abuse. You wanted us to be careful. I said no, we don't want to be careful about abuse as a word. Just like I don't want to be careful.
We don't want to be attached to the word. I
don't want to be careful with divorce as a word. Some people have a problem saying divorce in their house. Oh, the D word, dude. That's how you're going to attract divorce.
Because you're so scared of it.
Because you won't have respect for psychology. You won't have respect for the actual underlying relationship, which is what's more important than divorce, marriage, divorce, any words, right? The underlying, even relationship itself, you can't put it on pedestal as a word. It's about how do I relate with you? Is this a healthy, relatable thing here? Do I feel free? Do you have peace of mind when you're with me?
Right.
And vice versa.
Right.
Is our life stress-free, drama-free zone, right? Do you feel secured in this relationship? Do you feel safe, right? If those things are lacking, right, on anybody's part, it could be the man or the woman, right? We have a problem. You can avoid the D word all you want in your house. Effectively, you're missing out on life and love. You know, so that's I'm gonna leave that there. And yeah, you had some things now to share.
Yeah, so I was reading some things about this whole submission situation, and I came across there's this guy that I actually follow. His name is Dave Willis, and it said 5 things men should know about submission. Okay, 5 things you should know.
What is it?
1, submission in marriage always begins with mutual submission to Christ. Amen. Yes. Unfortunately, it's linked to religion because marriage comes from religion,
right?
By the way, so don't be offended by that.
If you're, I would just amend that. If you happen to be not a Christ follower, is submission in marriage stand both parties submitting to a cause,
mutual,
a bigger cause, a bigger mission.
It's bigger than them.
It's bigger than both individuals.
Right.
The relationship between me and you is bigger than both of us. And again, for additional children that will continue to add on, or money, or children, empire that we're building.
Additional children, BTBO, I'm done. No.
For everything that
kill me. Take that back.
For everything
that
for everything that any one of us consider to be stake.
Right.
Value, right? For everything we had onto it,
right?
It becomes like the value that we attach to this relationship. If we don't submit to that cause, both of us, right, we will have problem with patience. We will have problem with submission. We will have problem with everything else, right? We have problem with money. If my ego creeps in, my personal ego, right, that means I'm already checked out. If your pride kicks in and you're just soaking your emotions, and for every moment you do that, we have a problem.
Of course.
It's okay to be human. We are humans, and it will happen once in a while.
And they'll be up and down.
But if it's consistent enough,
right,
we will destroy everything we care for.
Yes. It said 2, God is offended when his daughters are mistreated or bullied. Okay? You cannot bully your wife into submission. No.
Yeah.
Okay, man, your behavior sometimes. It said God is giving us husbands a clear mandate to treat our wives with tenderness, respect, support, and encouragement.
Right.
Number 3, it's never a husband's job to make his wife submit. And I've heard this over and over from men. Most men will say, you're not submitting right now. How about?
They don't say it that way, baby. They don't say it that way.
They say you are not being submissive. It comes up when they're arguing, is my point.
Yes.
When you're arguing and you say those things, it cannot be received properly because you're arguing. Okay?
Yep.
Number 4, husbands are actually called to submit more than wives. And I wanted to read from that. Our mission as husbands is to love your wife as Christ loved the church. He gave his very life for us. He pursued us when we denied him. He loved us when we were unlovable. So for you that have bitchy wives, those are the time you have to love your wife more. He gave his best when we couldn't repay, and he died to his own desires and preferences to give us life. And then told us to love our wives with the same kind of love. That's humbling, and doing the same requires a lot of submission on our parts. Okay? 5, our marriage mission is not submission. It is love. And when you talk about love, when we say, you have to love someone in a way that they feel free, people be pushing back on that. I do not understand why it's so hard.
You know why they push back?
Understand that.
The only reason why anybody push back on that is personal insecurities. If you have hurt in the past, if you have experiences in the past that make you feel less than, that makes you feel the need for validation from another human being, it's natural for you
can't receive it.
Yeah, it's natural for you to feel like you have to hold people accountable as a mission. Right? There's nothing wrong with holding people accountable. It's the context that we use it in. Right? For example, if you unilaterally check out on our relationship, like you said you don't want anymore, I'm going to make you earn it back if you want it back.
Of course.
That's holding you accountable without
telling you.
Yes,
absolutely. Actions instead of words.
Yes, because I have self-respect. I'm not going to put myself in a position where you start to look down on me, that I don't have options in life. That, I'm just going to commit suicide if you're not with me. If I put myself in that position, that makes you want to run even further away from me.
Of course. Who wants a man that is not, vice versa.
Someone that but especially a man.
Yeah,
who wants a man that's going to be eating you up emotionally? That you now feel guilty, but I don't want him to commit suicide. If I don't, like, that's going to make the woman run even further away from you. You know? So there's this old thing about crying as a man.
Yeah, I hear things like, I want him to be more vulnerable. I want him to cry. No. You don't want that.
No. It's even if a woman says that.
You want a guy to be crying?
Listen, you women run your mouth. When you say things, I just leave you alone. It's the same token. This is patience.
That's generalizing. We don't run our mouths. Not all of us.
Oh, by the way, typical, right? I'm only talking typical.
Oh, right? Typical. Okay.
Will run their mouth in terms of what they think they want. I just did a whole exercise on Clubhouse where I asked women everything that they want. They told me everything that they want. And then a significant number of those things that they want, other women say they don't want it. Right? So I had to, because again, a woman don't necessarily know how to put in words what she actually wants. Right? So there's a lot of men that will say women just want honesty. No. Okay. No, it depends on what we're talking about.
What are we talking about?
Of course, if you ask her, she will tell you she wants honesty, right?
Yes, we do.
Why does she want honesty? She needs to feel safe and secured. Okay?
You want security.
Because if she feels like you're lying to her, that doesn't make her feel safe and secure.
Yes.
Okay? So the actual thing that she wants is safety and security, not honesty. Because there are certain things she like, ew, I don't want to know that.
Okay.
You fart in the house every other second. You're like, I'm just being honest. Fart was coming. Like, no, I don't want that part of honesty.
That's disgusting.
So it got real. I took it to the petty level.
That's very petty. And now that's a competition of farts. Okay, we do it in everything.
So
who can fart the most?
So a lot of time, not just women, you're right about the generalization part. Not just women. Men sometimes feel like they want certain things. That's not what they want. If you haven't done enough work, enough deep thinking, critical thinking, you don't necessarily know what you want.
You don't know what you want.
Okay, like you were saying earlier, some men think they want sassy woman. That same sassiness is what's going to be your pain in the butt.
Oh my God!
Later on,
you now start hating her, but she's been herself all the while.
She was you were attracted to that. So when she's now going through stuff, it feels like she needs to use colorful words. She's gonna be sassy in that moment too.
Absolutely.
So so there are some core things. We have a lot more in common than we like to admit. It's just that you can't measure it in words. You can't measure it like numbers, right? We have a lot more in common. What we all want to feel safe and secured.
Absolutely.
Okay. A woman wants to feel safe. A man wants his ego to feel healthy. He wants to feel like the macho, like the hero.
To be massaged.
You know why?
Yeah, of course.
You know why?
I agree with that.
Because it makes him feel secured in the relationship. Because once he starts to feel like he's not your hero, insecurity will creep in. He will start questioning every move. If you stop by on the road and like 1 minute late than you think, he will think the worst case scenario, right? And then you're gonna find out that men are just as emotional.
Oh, you can't be another person's hero. How about that? That's so common in our own parents' generation. You will go and become another woman's hero. She makes me feel good about myself.
Yeah,
she appreciates me.
So back to the topic. There's a lot of stuff going on underneath. So when you submissive wives, why is it that women push against submissive wives? Many of them will tell you, because we are partners. That's not the answer. Okay, that's not the answer. Okay, in fact, she would like to be a submissive wife.
Right.
Not the words. She would like to feel like you think of her as a submissive wife. She would like to feel that safe with you, where she just let you handle things. She knows you will figure it out.
She know you got it.
And she will take care of you.
Right.
She will lay the bed. She will sweep the floors. She may not cook. Maybe that's not her thing. Okay. But she would like to feel free that you're not going to judge her. Right. She would like to feel on the days that she would rather do pizza. She would like to feel like you're not going to throw her under the bus with 2 million followers.
I know, right?
But I'm John Gray.
It's so petty. That's so wrong.
Yeah, you didn't know that was going to get out there, but still, he was telling another third party.
When you're big, when you're a leader, you'll be held accountable.
If she feels like she's being judged by every moment, at one point she's just going to be like, you know what? Screw that submissive thing. Okay, I don't want to be submissive. We're partners.
There's a reason why you chose her to be your wife. Right. She has other values that you love about her that she brings to the table. So cooking pizza and all that, those things are so irrelevant. People do what works for them. I know people who don't cook at all. And everything is, ordered or, meal prep and stuff like, but it works for them, That I agree that marriages can be different. What we do in our house, that's between me and you. No one needs to know that. Stop comparing your marriage to another person's marriage. Well, you have to love and respect each other. And I think both the husband and the wife want that.
Yes. It's both sides that want that. But when everything else fails, a man needs to step up and lead. Because that's the reality of what you want, and that's what she actually wants to.
Define lead, because I feel like people don't understand what leading means.
So me and you were arguing, right? Tit for tat. I hope a little bit. You hit me in the nose. Only women that be more Obama. Right? You said my ears are like Obama's ears, right? And I said, no, your own ears look like Michelle too, right? Or like you're lisping. Like
those see, right? Like you're here below the belt, like you're using.
That's not below the belt, but
weaknesses.
That's I'm using emotional weakness. That's usually what it is. Like you are too. That's how you usually go. You're just a nasty person. It's things like that.
Oh, you're a narcissist. This is so like all these labels that people catch. They catch online and they use it in their homes with their spouse. So you need to desist from
That's usually what the conversation looks like. It's basically hitting that person emotionally below the belt, right? So we're both
horribly.
Yeah. That's how you just know that one will not that one will not touch me though. But I know,
look at your belly.
Yeah.
Because you have 4 kids. Yeah. There are women out there that they have 6 pack. Like things that people are insecure about. Like those are the issues, Jerry. Makes no sense.
So we're engaged in that. Yeah,
right.
I'm answering your question.
Right.
So we're engaged in that, and then everything has failed. The empire has crumbled in that moment in time. It is always better. Still in this society, I don't know, 50 years later, okay? It is always better for the man to lead that relationship out of that nastiness. Okay? How does that happen? I would just shut up,
don't engage.
Actively listen to, not engage with words, but I will engage you with listening. Okay? I'm like, wow. Okay, so you're telling me that yes,
you're not gonna say you to be calming down.
No, it's not my moment to say, can I speak to? No, you don't. That's you still competing with your woman in leadership. You need to lead both of you out of that funk. That's what I mean by leadership. Okay. Now, it's cute if a woman can do that. If a woman is empowered enough to do that. If a woman is strong enough to do that. But what I'm starting to hear lately is that some women will tell you straight up, I don't want to be strong.
I don't want to be strong.
Okay.
Why is that
you know where that's coming from? I
don't want to be strong.
You know where that's coming from? Because some people have been teaching that they should be strong. Some people are starting to teach them that you too, you can help. Like,
I think I'm strong enough. I do enough. I don't want to be extra strong.
So now it starts to be received as manipulative. Right? That's where that's coming from. But ultimately, a woman, you can measure strength based on human, right? You may feel like she hasn't been strong enough, right? Other people may listen to her story and say, you try. Like you're too much. Don't allow people to treat you that way now. And while you're looking at this, I like, no, she's wicked. She did this to me. You may be looking at it like, so you can't, when we're talking emotionally only, even verbally, because people exchange words that they don't mean.
Oh, of course.
Right? When they're in that place, right? So we can't measure it like that. You have to measure it as you are the man. Everything has failed. Lead yourselves out of that toxic funk energy, right? That's going to take a lot of patience because you'll be tested. Because remember, you're still human and you're feeling like, why is it always, you may be feeling like, why is it always me that's always trying to, I'll be frank with you, even you, when I'm having a conversation with you, I feel like I'm the one that's always trying to create an emotional centeredness there. And there are times that I get caught up in my feeling. I'm like, okay, I have feelings too, right? But I always find myself and say, but I'm the man. I'm the quote unquote the leader. But I'm telling you, a typical woman, if they feel like they're the one leading all the time, they will lose respect for you.
That's easy.
And that will transcend and spread over other aspects of your life. And then you will start to say things like, my wife is not submissive. What about that last 2-3 years that she just let you roll off, right? What about the part that we can't measure it in the form of she's sassy, her mouth is too nasty? We can't measure it like that. You chose to be in that relationship. If you know that this is the woman that you love, right? You need to regain your power and learn how to drive her back to where you want her to be without controlling her, without using her words, without using your words, without thinking she's some kind of button machine you can press and then she will snap back, without asking her to forgive you overnight. Overnight means a year. It could mean 10 years to other people. It could mean never. Listen, never. I'm telling you like this strong. I didn't need my wife to forgive me. I didn't need it. I didn't need you to forgive me. It wasn't a thing. How can you get into a place where you don't need her to forgive you? Oh yeah, but she always bring up past issues. Like, how can you get into a place where you don't need her to stop bringing it up? You can make her stop bringing it up. How you move. how you conduct
You
yourself
can
in that
influence
relationship.
her, because that's when you will hear some people say, "Ah, don't take that nonsense. My wife will never try that with me."
Yep.
That's not the way to get your wife to submit or to
Yes.
forgive. You
You
have
don't
to
you don't make
influence
her,
her.
you make her with influence,
Mm-hmm.
not by controlling her.
Mm-hmm.
You make her by attracting her to do that. You make it our idea to do it. If it's not our idea to do it, if it works, it's short term.
Yes.
In fact, you're
That's
going to
right.
fall harder next time
Mm-hmm.
because she will hold resentment like, "I'll give you a chance." No.
Oh, but this marriage thing is real, Charlie.
It's a lot because of our complex brain. That's
It
why.
is. It is.
Like I always say, love
It is
every
real.
day like you. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it's not making her with your words.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you have to use your word, oh limbe, you're not
just
there.
running your mouth.
You're not there. You haven't earned it. Because we're talking emotional matters, because the relationship is driven 99.99% by the emotions, right?
Right.
But if you using your word, you have disregard for psychology, and that's gonna hurt you. You're self-sabotaging. You have disregard for people's feelings, including your own feelings. Because there are times that you're caught up in your feelings, and you better know how to catch that when it's happening. And then when it happens and you detect it, now that you detect it, you're still caught up, but you have space in yourself. You're self-sufficient to know that, okay, let me control what I say.
You're checking yourself.
Let me control the energy.
Yeah,
because the way I feel right now, if I was acting out of these emotions right now, it would just go completely left.
Right.
Even worse. It would go even
That's
worse.
why I prefer when you're arguing. I mean, even though sometimes is not a solution. Like a man that knows that is quick to anger, you take a walk. I mean,
what do you mean it's not a solution?
I mean, that moment, it's a better solution, because the reason why I said that is sometimes some men will now use that as an excuse not to come back home again. Or go and
that's
engage.
Because they're focused on the walk away part.
They're engaged in some other illicit affairs. Like, oh, that woman is not giving me peace, so I left the house for her and her children, and now I'm with somebody else. I'm like, that thing will happen to you again, and you will leave that place and go to another place. So that is not the solution.
Yeah. So your physical acts are not the solution.
Right.
Any physical acts are not the solution, but sometimes physical acts will invoke or provoke certain emotions, right? And that can become solution. So when you're in a toxic argument, walking away by itself is not the solution. But if walking away is going to let people cool down and calm down,
then it works. And
that's what makes it the solution. So there is no, I want you to get into a place and disregard all physical acts outside of just having sex.
Right.
Outside of blowing your own minds off with crazy, passionate sex. Outside of that, all physical acts, if you're not deliberately doing it and it has an effect on the emotions in a positive manner, disregard it. Okay. So if you're arguing right, that argument is not the argument by itself. The reason why we say avoid it is not because arguments, be me and my best friend, we just argue, right?
Right.
It's because you're building certain level of resentment.
Yes.
And if you win the argument,
how do you win when you're not even, when the other person feels like shit?
If you win physically the argument,
you've not won anything.
Let's accent it, like Nigeria people will say, right?
You won't know peace.
If you win, you just lost.
Yes,
in the grand scheme of
massively.
things. You just lost big time.
You think you've won, but you just lost.
Because what's gonna happen is that you're just gonna fall harder the next time, because you just stored.
You're not paying attention.
Yeah. And if a woman wins an argument, right, it can be the same thing.
Of course.
Okay, it can have the same effect. Because there are men out here that will check out on your marriage and just start sleeping in the side chick's house forever. Right?
They won't even argue. They won't engage.
Here's the question. I'm not sure if that's the man you want. The man that will just, because you argue too much, he checked out on his marriage. I'm not sure if that's the kind of man you want.
That woman, her mouth is too much. She doesn't give me peace of mind. I heard the other day in Clubhouse, somebody was saying, "Oh, I'm looking for a woman who will be my heaven." Excuse me? Are you heaven? If you're not in heaven, how you gonna attract to heaven? Okay, it's what you put in yourself that you're gonna, get back.
Yes.
You don't
both ways.
expect somebody to be your heaven. It's the same way you don't expect someone to give you happiness.
Yes.
If you ain't got it, you're never gonna be happy.
Yes.
Because it comes from the inside. These are the narratives that people are running around with. They're looking for their peace of mind. They're looking for their. What about days that person will be weak?
Yes.
And they will act out. You won't be able to give them that, pass because you're supposed to be my heaven. Why are you acting out? You're acting crazy. And that's what happens.
Yeah. That's what
I feel like they don't teach it enough. They don't teach people like TD Jakes.
If you come to me and say, if you come to me
of that,
if you come to me and say, my wife is supposed to be my heaven, but she stresses me out and my house feels like hell every day, I'm going to ask you to tell me more. That does not tell me anything.
It doesn't tell me anything.
Yeah.
What you're saying, you're just pointing fingers the whole
because
time.
honestly, you could be right, but being right does not create healthy relationships. It doesn't.
And the idea that you expect somebody to be your heaven, I'm totally lost about that one.
No, but you're my heaven now. So some people will look at us and say, I want what they have. So why am I asking somebody to tell me more? Because I need context. Okay, you may just be the hellfire yourself. Maybe that's why there's no
maybe
heaven.
Maybe you're the real hell.
Right.
That's why you're getting that.
So,
and that's what
but
I'm
maybe
saying.
not too.
Maybe not too.
So that's why I asked you, tell me more, right? But like I said, whatever you invest into your relationship is what you're going to get out.
And that's the point I'm trying to make.
But I say that.
Hit it on the nail.
But I say that with respect to this. If everything else is failing, you guys are in a crisis. I prefer, based on everything I know,
for the man to lead.
Based on everything I know, which is still limited information, limited knowledge, limited wisdom. I don't know it all. I prefer that the man will lead based on observing women, not just my wife, based on observing men. I think you have a better chance of a happy relationship when you, as a typical man, not all men, as a typical man, take the responsibility of leading your relationship out of that funk. If you can manage to do that, she will love you to death. If you make her do it by being stubborn, right?
Being a stubborn
if she
man.
beats you to the punch,
yes,
and she leads you out of that funk, she may find herself not having the ability to respect you. Why? Because our emotions is a function of the society we live in, and it's expected that a man should be a lot more emotionally strong. If she feels like she's stronger than you emotionally, she may not be able to submit. She may not be capable of submitting to the relationship and effectively she's not trying to submit to you because you're not attractive enough to submit to. And by the way, we all are like that. Respect, submission, and trust are earned.
It is
100%. If you feel like, but what about when we got married first? At least you respect her. That's because she don't know you.
Okay,
she
don't know you yet.
She don't know who you are.
Yeah.
And the power of newness, right? That's how powerful the idea of new is. You ever heard the grass seems greener on the other side?
Yeah.
Why? Because it's new. Because, plus also, if the grass is greener on the other side, there's a good chance that somebody is watering it or it's artificial. It's plastic.
You don't know the real truth.
It's synthetic, like they call it. Synthetic grass will be green forever. You know, it's fake. It's fake.
Right.
If it's real grass, somebody is watering it, right? So before you start to look at your wife as not submissive, you may want to say, am I watering this grass?
That's right.
What am I doing to help? Okay, now I've watered the grass. Okay, yeah, I've watered it for 3 days, but she hasn't changed. Dude, there's a harvest season. You have to be patient.
Patience.
Okay? And by the way, if she's bringing disrespect after a time that you deem is enough. You as a person, you feel your feelings are authentic. You as a person feel
You get to choose.
like you've given enough and you're just not capable of giving. You don't, it's not feeling natural. Then you have the choice of excusing yourself. You bow out of that relationship honorably. Just, it's not working. But I love you. I love you to death, and we're
But
gonna.
people say that's the irresponsible thing to do.
Or by bowing out. Well, the irresponsible thing to do is to be abusive to yourself. If you
and creating more toxic situations.
Yes, but again, all that with respect to, you understand that every good relationship took investment. Somebody invested in it. Somebody was watering that grass for a period of time that you didn't get to see. Right? You see people on social media, it's all lovely and stuff. You don't see when they take a walk in the park.
Okay.
You don't see when they hit the
fighting.
gym. You don't see their argument. Well, I wanted to use the positive ones.
Oh, the positive. But even the positive ones has moments of arguments now. It's normal now that these things will happen.
Yes.
You don't get to see that.
You don't get to see all that. But all of that is a form of investment. You don't get to see when that person is being patient. Right? It just looks overnight.
Overnight success.
Every overnight success took at least a decade.
No, they will say, it's blood money. I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying that there's no blood money out there, but So
we'll be rounding up. With that being said, you have anything else you want to share, babe?
I think we kind of covered it all, but
we have this thing here.
Zone.
Why in most marriages do wives call the shots and husbands are submissive? What? What statistics was that?
I don't know. And which part of the world? Because I don't know. Look, I don't know.
So somebody answered and said, okay, so there are a few possibilities here. Sex. Some men will bend over backwards for a woman that is having sex with them.
Okay. The sex is just that good.
He is simply just submissive. There is nothing wrong with that. If both partners are happy with that arrangement and the marriage is healthy, good for them. Like this kind of thing right now is generalizing. What do we mean by submissive? We have to define submissive, right? So he's simply just been submissive. Okay, I guess. But I would go back to the person asking the question. I would want to know that you give me more context.
Yeah. It's different.
Then, and this person actually said that right. You don't see the whole picture. I'm more submissive than my husband, but outside looking in.
You think
I call all the shots.
Yep.
I don't. Keep track of our calendars and know the financial situation much more in depth than my husband does. It's not that he's submissive. He's just checking into plans and money. At the end of the day, as long as everyone is happy and respected, couples should have whatever dynamic that works for them.
I agree with that.
So again, there's a lot more common there with all of us than, even though she said it like it depends. No, it really doesn't depend. It's still the guy feels safe and secured having his wife. He's a secured man.
And he's happy with the way it is. And she also feels the same way.
Yes.
And that's why it works for them.
Yes. I think the part where, because it's absolutely correct when you say what worked for people, I just push against it because I want people to give me more context.
Right.
Where that comes in terms of actionable is that when you're dealing with your wife, you have to be listening. You have to, when they say, I want this, that you have to make sure that you're not just listening to the surface word. What do you mean if you say, I want to have peace of mind, babe, tell me what that looks like. What am I doing that's making you not have peace of mind? Now you're asking for more context. You're listening in, not so you can reply, but so you can see how she looks at things. Because frankly, you may not know that. Most people haven't even listened enough to know.
So I was going to use Mona Scott as an example.
Right.
Not that I know her entire life, but there was a time that I think it was a documentary, and they shared the fact that she's the hustler. She goes out and makes the money.
Right.
And the husband is actually a house husband. He takes care of the kids, everything pertaining to the kids. He takes care of everything.
Right.
Now, there are people that will argue out there that she can be submissive to her husband. But I disagree, because as long as she respects him.
No, the very idea that she acknowledges him
Yes.
that's
That's submissive
that's
enough.
submission.
Yes.
It doesn't have to.
It's not like
he didn't have to acknowledge.
I think people
him.
think submission is the yes master thing or
Yes,
something.
they think it's
like
a
it has to be
master-slave relationship.
Yeah. And I need it to be more clearer because a lot of men do submit to their wife and they don't know they submit.
I'll tell you right now,
A
I
lot of women submit to their
submit to my wife.
to their husbands.
If I don't
without
submit to
knowing
my
it.
wife on this very day, how my lunch this afternoon is going to be handled because I'm getting hungry right now. I don't know how to be handled.
What do you mean?
If I don't submit to you, I'll be hungry.
So I won't give you food if you don't submit. I don't understand.
You will give me food. What I'm saying is that I'm submitting. The idea that I leave that responsibility of making sure I eat this afternoon.
Oh, okay. You leave that.
That's
to
submission
me.
in that context.
Oh, okay. I'm like, wait, what?
Like I feel safe, so I submit.
Right.
People will not submit if they don't feel safe.
Right.
All right. It's applicable to a man, it's applicable to a woman.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Once you don't give me food 3 afternoons in a row, right? Suddenly I will not submit. Right? I will like make sure I have food to eat this afternoon or at some point, right? I will start, but also
wouldn't you want to know why though?
I'm
strange and weird.
Let me just pretend I want to be petty.
Yeah, in your
feelings. You don't want to give me food,
right?
Okay. So no, but now the fact that I now know you don't give me food in the afternoon, I'm going to show that in other behaviors, and you're going to start to question,
right?
How come he's doing that, right? So it's not transactional. It's given. You don't give me food in the afternoon because you think you're going to get something out of it.
Exactly my point.
Right? You
it's
give
for that
because it's your idea. You love
because
the
I
idea
love doing it. Yes.
If for some reason we find ourselves in a funk and you stop doing it, it is my responsibility to find out. So you were right anyway. To find out how come my wife changed.
What's going on?
I'm not just gonna start running a task and say she's not submissive.
She has changed. Oh. This is what women do. Oh. And call the whole world and be petty on social media. Yeah, we can all do better. Absolutely, we should all do better and stop expecting so much from each other.
If your wife is not submissive to you, that's a gift. It's a gift. It's an opportunity.
It's a challenge.
It's a challenge. It's an opportunity to find out something is missing in the underlying, right? It's a symptom of other things that are going on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she came to the table. She never liked to cook, but dude, that's what you marry. If you're telling me she never, usually it's an exaggeration.
Right,
but if you just use the word, she
now
always.
You want to force her to.
Oh, you want to change her?
Come on now. No, we know who you married. Know what you're getting yourself into. And yeah, we don't know all the way, but we do see signs. And we think we can fix it.
I would argue that I know everything, but that's my biggest fear. Because they give themselves away so quick too. But you're right. I don't know everything. We all have blind spots.
Yes, so
what advice can you give to a new wife that has independently provided material needs and ran a home alone for 25 years? So let me guess. They were 18 when they moved out. They're now 25 plus 18. So they're now 45 years old, right? Just hypothetically. And now will be need to be a respectful and submissive wife to our new husband. See how this question just complicated submission. Right?
So it's because she's been independent for a long time.
She won't be able to be submissive.
She won't be able to be
respectful. That's what they're indicating here.
Right. And it's kind of confusing when you put stuff like this out there.
But this is how most people think.
Sense. That's what I'm saying.
That's how most people think.
So when like the clubhouse, for example, once they start and they go that way, oh my God, you can't bring them back. You're just like, okay, you figure it out on your own. I'm out.
There's an assumption here that a 45-year-old woman who gets married is unable
to be submissive,
to respect her husband, to be submissive. That's a toxic assumption. If this person happens to be a 46-year-old man who married a 45-year-old woman, he will now build a guard up. He will be watching like, let me see if he's submissive. And it's going to attract exactly what he fears the most. Because that behavior is going to show up and she's going to push back. Like, why are you watching like that? Why are you so insecure?
Insecurity.
And she won't be able to submit to you.
Right, insecurity.
Not because she's not capable of submitting. It's because the environment is not conducive to create a submissive wife.
Right.
You know? So there is a lot of assumptions there. If you love a person and you feel safe loving them, if you feel free, if you're secured, my insecurity could come from your own insecurity. If you're insecure, your behavior is going to start making me feel insecure.
Yeah, anxiety. I can transfer the
I will catch
anxiety,
anxiety.
and you'll catch it, and then we go tumbling down.
You know,
Yeah.
so if that happens, you're right. So you're always right. You're right. So, but if you know that submissive wife and respectful wife is a symptom, like it's an effect, there are other things that causes it, then you will not ask this question. You will just know, oh, all I have to do is make sure that I create an environment that's conducive enough for her to be respectful and be submissive. What if she's just straight up wicked and she's just a disrespectful moron and not submissive? That's still on you. You chose that. People don't just become that overnight.
It's trauma now. People are bringing all kind of trauma.
Oh, let me give room for that. You're absolutely right. Some people bring trauma to the table from other relationships. That's absolutely true.
What about trauma from their background?
Or from their background?
It's not even from their relationship. It's just watching their parents, and now they are recreating that.
But you know what I say to that? There are certain skill sets you can learn.
But you just hit the nail on it. You have to learn.
Right.
You have to be open. At least you have to own that. Oh shit.
Yeah.
I'm thinking this way because of my background.
Yes.
Now I have to learn.
And I'm thinking this way because I've learned something.
Yes.
You know, there's
people just don't come and start learning for no reason.
Yes.
There's something that makes you want to learn.
Yes.
Change that dynamic.
If you start cursing people out and all the wicked women in the world right now, we will have another 100 people.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
But we're talking about this because not to put ourselves on the pedestal is the real deal. You know, so the few people that will see this will be thankful. Everyone brings trauma to the table. Everyone. So if you marry a 45-year-old woman and she's having a hard time being respectful, maybe her mouth is just nasty. There are some people like that for it.
They're saucy.
There are skill sets you can learn that will attract what you fall in love with in the first place and will get her. You attract her to start behaving, and it will be 100% our idea because she will want to do everything to make you happy. But it's a skill set.
It is a skill set.
But if you lead with your insecurities and you want to use your words, or you want to make her accountable, right? You want to let her know your intentions and expectations. Right?
You want to date with intention and purpose. Oh my God.
Dating with a purpose.
Where we have bastardized a lot of things. Like when people just start talking some lingos, I'm like, you're saying all those things, but I'm still confused. So, let's start using layman language.
You mean start using layman language?
We need more of that.
I thought you said stop.
No, let's start because everyone is coming up with their own, with all these popular narratives, and you know they have their lingos. We're just dating with the purpose. If you date with the purpose, there's no way you end up with blah blah blah. Blah. You would date with the purpose and still end up there.
So we're gonna leave
because every relationship has problems, and you have to figure it out how to bring both of you out of that problem. We have your own share of problems. Yeah. There's no perfect marriage. There's no perfect relationships.
Yeah. Is this gum, baby?
No, that's not gum. Oh, that's M&M. Skittles, M&Ms, peanut M&Ms. Why?
I don't know.
Is it from coffee?
Could be. anyway. So, yeah, go ahead, babe. You were saying something?
No, I was just saying that when people start saying, "Oh no," it's because they think there is they say that if you're not dating with a purpose, that's why you're going through this, that's why you're going through that. No, every relationship is going to have problems, and you have to be ready to learn something new in order to get out of the situation you're in. Don't expect to go in a relationship and just expect everything to be rosy. Right. It doesn't work that way. Even if you marry someone today and this is you guys' plan, you are dating with a purpose. I said we dated with a purpose. This is what we want. This can still change in the future.
Yep.
When that change, how are you gonna handle that? Those are conversations that people are not having. People are having dating with their purpose. Things are supposed to be that way, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, these people don't know life. Life can happen to you, and it's not even about you and your spouse. It could be you can start having babies and your babies have problems and you have to deal with that. It could be your spouse has health issues. How are you going to deal with that? You know, it's bigger than just all these lingos we use.
So this person answered that question, right? About 40-something-year-old woman.
Hey, I thought we were rounding up, babe.
Yeah, I'm already answering.
It's 3:56.
Round up. We got 2 more minutes.
Okay, just letting you know.
This is the answer right here. I think there may be good points there. I take exception.
Wait, read the question again, though.
I know it. What advice can you give to a new wife that is 46 years old, lived her life for 25 years by herself, taking care of things and stuff like that?
What advice can you give to a new wife that has independently provided material needs and ran a home alone for 25 years and now will be need to be a respectful and submissive wife to a new husband?
That question is loaded. Sound like somebody married a 45-year-old woman is not complaining. So the person says, I take exception to the premise of your question. There's no need to be submissive to a husband. The husband and wife are now partners in life. I disagree with that. I agree with the first part of the sentence. The idea that we're partners also can create toxic thing. Okay? We're lovers. Okay? I'd rather say we're lovers. We're
lovers and best friends.
We're best friends, we're lovers. That means we'll feel free. When you say we're partners, that can actually create a constraint.
Some rules and shit.
You're like, we're partners, you're not supposed to. Oh Lord. All right. So do I pick apart these words? Yes.
Yes, you do.
No words have absolute meanings. That's all I'm trying to say. Because if you make that absolute thing, you will create toxic energy in your relationship, even if you call it partner. Once you start to say partner, and the other person doesn't feel that way, you have toxic energy now.
Or maybe they slightly did something and they didn't carry you along. Maybe it's just their weakness. They forgot to. Oh my God, it's going to create a real mess.
This is why you're attached
to the word partners.
Yes. This is why you both agree with your husband and your wife 2 days ago that we're partners, and they say yes, but not today you're arguing. That's because of things like that. You put words on
a pedestal, yes.
Know? So the husband and wife are now partners in life. I will assume that there is already respect between the man and woman prior to the marriage. Yes, something brought them together, right? If there is not, then the marriage shouldn't happen. Isn't that true? I've been married 50 years. So I've done a few things right. Yes. I think the following are imperative. Honesty in all things, including your feelings and emotion. I disagree. So some people call blunt honesty. Rude and blunt. You call it honesty.
I don't want to hear it. Oh my God.
Let's not get started with that rabbit.
With that blunt, the blunt thing is not. It's not. I'm not about that. Like that blunt thing rubs me off. Honestly.
Yep. Kindness, it goes a long way, especially when you don't feel like being kind.
That's you giving.
That's giving. Okay. That's
Patience.
Giving. Patience. Living with another human isn't always easy. True.
This is so true. Even people living with you is not easy. Once you think of that, then you give that person a pass.
Yes. I agree with the whole body of this thing, even what you said. But when I pick certain words, I will start disagree because I feel like people will hold those words as gospel truth and then will use it.
It becomes a religion,
a toxic thing in there,
And they will quote it too.
Yes, and they will quote it too, and then they wonder why quoting it didn't work.
Oh my
People quote Bible against their wife and husband, and they wonder why it doesn't work. A sense of humor is important. You're going to do dumb things.
Absolutely.
That means you will do dumb things. He's going to do dumb things.
Fact.
Laughing about them makes life so much easier.
I agree with
I could tell that's a 50-year-old marriage talking.
That is best friends with his wife.
That's best friends and not partners.
I know people who are 50 years married that are not on this level. So let's not even know about the years at all.
Yeah, that's best friends and lovers with their wife and not partners in life.
Right.
Like bullshit. Learn how. Like, I feel like the partnership thing also falls to the same category of submission. It's a symptom. We could actually play partnership without enforcing it on ourselves. So we gotta be careful with those words. Learn how to have disagreements without anger. Yes,
no, that's tough.
I agree. That's why I said learn. It's not you
Learn.
don't fall out of the sky learning how to do that.
You don't know how to do
You have to
that.
learn it.
Yeah.
It took my husband and I a few years before we learned how to have disagreements that didn't dead end in anger. Think before you speak.
I tell you.
Yeah, words can hurt. Facts.
Yeah.
Verbal communication is important, and you should be able to talk about anything. But it's a sensitive topic. But if it's a sensitive topic, choose your words wisely.
Look, again, I'm a sensitive person. So for me, choose your words wisely is very important to me. Like thinking before you speak, like sometimes, maybe we're arguing and I just don't want to talk anymore. Right. It's not because I don't know what to say, but I know that if I say certain things, I will hit below the belt and I myself won't like it.
Or you could just be caught up in your emotions.
And that's why I choose to say, you know what, I ain't saying nothing no more because this is going to go to destruction. So people don't understand when you just really want to communicate.
You think it's going to go to destruction if you don't shut up?
If I use when I'm angry, I don't know. You've not seen.
How often do you get angry?
I rarely get angry. But when I get angry, I start to shake. When I start to shake, I cannot talk.
Okay.
If I talk, even me, I don't think I'll be able to handle it. So I don't like to get there at all. And I can remember maybe me reacting. There's one I always remember, me and my sister. My younger sister, you know Deborah now, sometimes she says things.
Okay, what's her mouth?
The mouth. Oh my God. I think we were still teenagers. I was like,
you know why I'm laughing? Because I know she won't watch this show.
Yeah. Well, I was like 16. I'm 3 years older than her. And when she talks, like sometimes she just keep talking and she can go really low and disrespectful.
Right.
And this one
but
time,
obviously she was also younger. So
this one time she was 13 years old.
Oh, okay.
I was so upset. I slapped. If you see the dirty slap I gave her, when I slap,
will she agree if she watches this?
I don't know if she even
maybe she doesn't remember.
She probably doesn't even.
If she doesn't remember, that means you slap her a lot.
No, it's one time.
So she will remember now.
I don't know. Well, when I slapped her, instantly I knew it was wrong. Instantly, I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, oh my God, why did I do that? So I'm that kind of person that I know that if I react when I'm angry, I'm not going to like myself. It's not even about you. I'm not going to like the person I've become. Right. So I choose not to keep going, keep talking, and keep going through that rabbit hole. Because when people see you arguing, when people say, oh, when you don't speak sometimes, people think you don't know what to say. It's not about that. It's me trying to control myself.
But
if I get petty...
We could argue right now. I would argue that the reason why you shut down is because you get emotional. Not necessarily because you're emotional. Not necessarily because you're thinking I don't think you are necessarily thinking.
No, I'm also very emotional. Yeah. I'm the type of person that when and again, you're my husband, so you're the only one that can bring that reaction out of me. Which is
why I'm saying
when I'm in love with someone and I'm hot in the moment, I'm the type of person that my tears will start rolling down, and I hate it because to me it makes me feel like I'm being weak.
Right.
But I can't help myself in that moment because I'm really hot. Right. So I'll be crying in that moment. But when it comes to outsider, they will never see me that way. Okay. Because guess what? You want to argue with me and roll in the mud? I'm not going to roll in the mud with you. I know how to walk away.
But sometimes it doesn't have to be me wanting to argue with you.
Right.
We're just saying.
No, I'm talking third party right now.
It's me and you. But we're even talking third party because it happens with third parties, right?
Right.
It's not you wanting to argue. It's because argument comes with that level of emotions.
Right.
Just period.
Right.
Right. When you're arguing with the person that you care about, right? They can get into a place. It could also be you that you're being overly defensive, or they're just bad with their mouth. It could be vice versa, right? And that will get you into a place that you're emotionally soaked up. We just watched the show yesterday. Remember when that girl went behind the scenes when she wanted to cry? Nobody likes to be in that mode where I'm supposed to be having conversation with you, and then my eyes are getting watery. It could be because I feel like I've disappointed you. It could be because I feel like you're beating me up.
Well,
I'm feeling abused a bit.
the people that have the power to do that to me
Mm.
is my family, honestly.
Mm.
Because when it comes to third party, I really guard myself.
Mm.
I really, it's if you get to me that I must really
No,
love
because you don't let parties.
I
in
don't
like
let
that.
people in. I
Okay,
don't let
so,
people in.
See,
I really don't. I have a guard,
yeah.
and
The reason why I said that,
I protect myself a
Yes.
lot. But that comes from my core too. See how you're raised sometimes.
Yeah.
So while I was growing up, I didn't go out a lot.
The reason why I brought that up is I want us to be deliberate about separating that from a deliberate act as opposed to I just shut down. Right.
Mm,
If you're deliberate about it, you'll be like, I'm not gonna give you
that power.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's just you, if you feel like you don't feel safe in an environment, you're gonna put guards up.
Mm-hmm.
That's you, am I correct?
Oh, that's me.
Okay, all right.
That's me. I'm protecting myself with bars of steel. You can't get through.
Right. So
Yeah.
it's hard for an outsider completely to get into that space.
Yeah, it's very hard. It's very. You will never find me arguing with an outsider. It's just
it's
very.
like it's not
because they never had the chance to get in. Anyway.
For me, not now because I'm deliberate about it.
Right.
But when I was not deliberate about my personality, I let guards down. Then I will get into conversation with people that can potentially lead into arguments, right? And then we find ourselves in that place where I don't like how that. I will be there before I realize I don't like how that.
Felt. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I let my guard down. I let people in.
Right.
A lot faster than you.
I don't.
So, but I had to learn the hard way.
But that came from my, growing up too. Like my mom is overprotective, so we didn't really have the chance to like mingle a lot. So me and my sisters and my brother are more closer. Like.
All right. So let's finish off before you start to blame it on me that I didn't let.
Yeah, because I need to eat.
You just did it. You should have proven me wrong.
I need to eat.
You just did it.
I'm being real. I need to eat.
I had to let you finish what you were saying.
Oh, okay. That's good.
So think before you speak. Words can hurt. Verbal communication. I like how this person spell out the verbal communication. Because she goes, verbal communication is important and you should. The key word to me there is should. That's not going to be reality. Verbal communication sometimes can be received as hurt. And it will effectively work against you.
Right.
So you better be changing that verbal communication to effective communication.
Effective communication.
So should be able to talk about anything. It should. You should still watch your mouth, which is I'm agreeing with this person that words can hurt. Just keep that at the back of your mind. But if it's a sensitive topic, choose your words wisely.
Yes.
Don't use sex as a reward or punishment. I disagree with this part. There's nobody in their right mind that use sex as a punishment.
They're just not connected in that moment.
They're not connected. They don't want to have sex.
Because I disagree with the fact that you should have sex when you are not into it. Oh, that's punishment. Oh, I'm sorry. That's punishment.
Yeah, I don't.
That's punishment, and I don't know how anyone can enjoy that kind of sex.
If you're strong enough, if you've worked on yourself, you're strong enough that you don't feel it. But I want to make sure my husband is happy. The idea that you feel like you want to make your husband happy, that's cool. But the idea that it's a show, like is this dude, so I should do it. No,
I don't even know.
No, but it's effectively okay to effectively say, I don't feel like it, but I would like to make him happy.
But that's different.
That's
unlike when you guys are arguing and you're now trying to sleep with the person just to like bribing them. It might backfire. You will hate yourself.
If your mind is already in that space where somebody is now preaching to you that don't use sex as a reward or punishment, if you're in that space emotionally, this is a bad advice. Yeah. What you should do is work on the underlying reasons that's making you feel disconnected
from that person,
and then you will solve the problem in a much more authentic and better and effective way.
Right.
That's not to mean one spouse must engage in sex just because the other desires it.
Exactly.
See, they're contradicting themselves already. So then you're punishing, according to this person, right? Nor does it mean that withholding sex frequently is okay. It's not okay because
you just left that person in a limbo.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like if somebody was listening to that advice, you just confused them.
Yeah, they're confused.
Yeah. But I think the point, just to make sure we spell it out, is that not wanting to have sex, unless it's medical issues, not wanting to have sex is because there are underlying issues. Identify what the underlying issues are. Both of you can do that. Both parties can do that. If you can't love your in-laws, at least be polite.
Okay, preach it.
See, that's real. Because sometimes these people are not lovable.
Be polite.
But at least be polite.
Choose
That's real.
Choose your battles. Okay.
Don't spend more than you earn. Don't nag. Apologize if you've made a mistake. Of course, this is not a one-way street. Your husband should do the same for you. If not, there's not much of a reason for you to respect him. I agree with the whole body. The idea, like, no, you don't need to be submissive. It should come natural if everything else is okay. If it doesn't come natural,
that comes natural.
Something is terribly wrong.
Place. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So
that's it for this edition.
And the woman gonna eat some food.
What are we eating? Jollof rice. Thank you so much, Instagram, Facebook. Thank you so much. So we've changed the time effectively to Saturdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, New York time, and 9 p.m. plus 6, not 9, it's 8. It's 8 p.m. Niger time, West African time, right now. So we've changed the time effectively to Saturdays. So make sure you mark your calendars. Come here, hang out with us on Saturdays. We pick these topics. Feel free to go to under this comment area and suggest topics we'd like to do, that you
want to talk about.
We can talk about it. Also, if you want to be a guest, you want to hang out with us and talk about this thing more in depth. Basically, you want to go send an email to us at questions@lolaandola.com. You can also send questions there if you have
DMs.
You can also DM us. Yes, absolutely. DMs works perfectly as well too. Just message us. And then we'd like to hang out with you, talk about it, and take it from there. Yes, but I don't know if you can tell, I'm hungry.
You're hungry.
Yeah. We'll see you guys. What's next week? Next week is good. We'll be here next week. We'll see you. Next week. See you next week. Oh, thanks, brother.
Brother TK. Happy New Year.
Later. Bye-bye.